Hey guys, Techie here, and well, I'm here to talk about the SoundWave speed draw I did for JETSTREAM on the Tabletop, which, again, if you're not watching it, it comes out every 2 weeks. The previous episode should be the video before this. So anyway, I've so far just done my typical reference gather, and so far, nothing really out of the ordinary has happened. That said, the first hour of this was just me trying to work out some sort of pose or something that would just work. And I cut out a lot of my attempts here. My problem is, coming up with a design for an original character is arguably easier because all you have to do is match the style. But when you're trying to redesign an established character like SoundWave, who is very recognizable, you just have to you have to try and work within certain limits, like try and work out why this character is recognizable. What about this character that makes people go, that is SoundWave? And I basically kind of narrowed it down to things like his build, his face, his shoulder cannon. All in all, really, I had to focus on those things, so I had to force myself to draw a rather bulkier character than I'm usually used to, because SoundWave was always kind of I wouldn't say bulky and slow, but he was certainly not the action master, as it were. He didn't leap and do backflips and all that. He kind of just walked and shoot and just did the job he needed to do. He was straight to the point. Problem is, when you think of this stuff at the time, you don't really think in descriptive words. You just kind of sit there and go, does this feel right? And that's where a lot of this design came in, was, did this feel right? Now, as you might have noticed, a few changes did happen during inking. And trust me, it is kind of scary to do something like this while inking, like suddenly decide to completely change a chest piece or change how a part folds or anything. Because, as said, the main thing I had to focus on with this character was trying to get that face right and that build right. Across the chest and all that, because, it usually has the cassette player part. As part of his chest. Now, in this case, I kind of wanted to remove that, because I didn't want to just redraw SoundWave. I wanted to draw a SoundWave that was unique to my setting. And, that takes a lot to do. Because again, it's adapting a pre-established character. This actually brings me to something I wanted to actually talk about, which is when do you use shapes and when don't you use shapes? As you notice on SoundWave, there's a lot of straight lines and a lot of circles, but some of these circles I basically blotched on, and a few of them I tried to use rulers. I have found that, just through experience, that it's easy to draw something round freehand, but when you need something to be very straight to the point, like a blaster or a bit of armor, you sometimes find that you have to use the rulers, because you need that, strength, that rigidity. But for things that may have to have a bit of an organic feel, like bumps or curves, I find freehanding them just makes it a bit easier. Because if you're good enough at freehanding, you can make anything look fairly rigid. But it's kind of a tip I picked up from the box office artist, who does a lot of Transformers stuff. In fact, from what I understand, he used to do the Transformers comics, and he would swear by his French curve. As you can see, there's a certain part where I redrew a bunch of circles freehand, because I really needed them to curve with the armor, and that was not going to work well with using a ruler. And it means that I can, kind of just add in a bit of variance to them. He is still an organic life form, even though he is, techno. Slowly just filling in the spots, doing some detail plates, because that's, again, the other thing I noticed about SoundWave. He was very rigid. So I kind of imagined him in my setting as very old school looking, which actually contrasts quite nicely with the more rounder, more lively style of RID and Jetstream's general art style. Like, when he shows up, it's like, oh, okay, this is something different. Oh, yeah. Some of you might have noticed the arm, and I can't really give out too many spoilers, but yeah, that is you-know-who's arm. He is, well, Soundwave is the right hand of Megatron, so it's only fitting, if you really think about it. As to why he has it, well, I haven't revealed it in the story, so I'm not going to reveal it now. I do know another question that came up was, can Soundwave transform? Because I did introduce the Action Masters, and again, I don't want to spoil anything. I really don't. Like, this is part of the fun, is having these reveals told to you through a story. Like, I'll answer a few things if it was like, oh yeah, that didn't quite come up, or I didn't explain that particularly well, but in this case, there's a lot of stuff about this character that I want people engaged in. Like, that's how you make a good villain in a tabletop game, in my opinion, is have them have something that the players want to know more about. And Soundwave, well, I'm not gonna say he's a villain, but he is certainly not an ally at this point. There's a lot going on with this character, and I'm gonna love doing a whole lot of reveals and such. So, anyway, if you've gotten this far in the video, please like, subscribe, everything else. You know, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. You know, it does actually mean a lot to us. It does encourage us to make these videos. And, well, I've been Techie, you've been fantastic, and I'll see you all next time.
And remember, everybody, like and subscribe for more content. And once again, remember, by controlling the web, I control the world. And transmission.